later now. Thank you.
So that way, I get it cheap, and I pass the savings on to... Hang on.
Sorry to interrupt your extracurriculars, but DedSec needs you. Ready for your first op?
It's about time.
Keep it up!
I'll be well protected at all costs.
Units, possible hostiles near your location. Received. Mobilizing now. Out. Control, our suspect is now swimming. Control, suspect is escaping on a boat. Suspect is unsighted. Unsighted, sweeping area.
Return to HQ. This is pointless.
We were supposed to be here that day. Thank you, dodgy pub filled. We'd be lying here dead with the rest of them otherwise.
I'd like to know why Albion are guarding a pile of rubbish months after the incident. Something is wrong here.
Just what I was thinking.
Kind of device or component that could still be emitting the signal. It seems to be coming from within the rubble.
So, is it underneath? To me, that's what it feels like, it's underneath. Yeah, it's underneath.
Shotgun CQC back in the field. Direct hit. Better watch out. Can't hide from me.
Get me some additional support.
It's over.
This is London Calling. You're listening to me, Tash, on Buccaneer, your source for what they don't want you to know. This time we're turning our focus back on the media to look at my former employer, the GBB. As we know, the broadcaster has been through a lot of changes since the Hassani government gave in to pressure from his corporate backers and privatised the corporation. Today, the GBB is a shadow of its former self. It's become a tool used by the government to circulate fake news and misinformation. So how did we get here? Where did it all go wrong? How can we tell when our national media has become state propaganda? Our experts speak on conditions of anonymity for their own safety. Here's disinformation and media expert Charles, who's seen free broadcasters built up by journalists and torn down by demagogues all over the world.
So before the media fragmented, there was this voice of authority that was trusted and worthy of trust. Then what we ended up with is a really commercial model where whether you're talking about an app on a smart device or whether you're talking about a broadcaster, the most important thing was to keep you in that environment for the longest amount of time possible, and because that meant money in their pocket. And in order to do that, a couple of things happened. One was the use of manipulative techniques around behavioral economics, things that would just keep you scrolling or keep you listening or keep you looking for more information. The second is that and so you got more sensational headlines and more sensational stories, and it didn't matter whether they were true or not. It just kept people in, and it kept them in the loop. So we ended up in a situation where nobody trusted anything, and nobody believed anything at all. And that is the perfect environment for an authoritarian voice to come in and say, no, wait, we are the truth. So the ground for this environment really got created when we had suddenly authoritarian politicians everywhere, and anything that threatened them or they disagreed with, they would call it disinformation. That's disinformation, that's fake news. And again, we got in a situation where nobody really believed anything. And the trouble is if you were telling the truth, it's very hard to get your message to cut through all of the noise of all of the disinformation that's there. So like, you remember Out on the Edges, there was this story about when they would take a house by
Welcome back to The Upload. Today we're talking about
Hello, resistance.
I'm not gonna sit here and play all of this shit.
What the fuck?
This is it. The signal is coming from this spider-bot fragment. No indication yet who it belongs to.
Something's completely mangled it. Christ. What's it doing there?
Difficult to say, but with an AR reconstruction, we may be able to see what happened to it and if it relates to the attack. Access data relays in the vicinity, and I can compile enough data to build the AR reconstruction.
Checking it out. Locking up it. Is that the best you've got? Fuck, oh fuck!
what's happening?
Alright, so we gotta do these little...
Perfect. 2 more data relays to go. data relay and I'll have it.
What the hell is this?
That should do it. Now, I'll just take the audio from this stream and the video from these 36 and... got it. Go back to where you found that spider bot and I'll show you the AR reconstruction from the night of the explosion.
Grand.
CTOS AR. Data reconstruction in progress.
You brought the payload? Fuck, think we'd go back for you? Don't trust the Kelly dog.
Kelly? Wait, as in Clan Kelly? You're telling me those gangster folks had something to do with all of this?
Seems to me like they supplied the explosives. They were making a delivery.
So, who was it they were meeting? It didn't seem close. Maybe Zero Day?
Well, don't just stand there. Keep looking.
Bagley, can you work out who was running that spider bot?
I've now fully decrypted the signal the Spiderbot is broadcasting, and while I cannot identify a specific user, it is a call code used by the Metropolitan Police Service.
So, the police watched it all happen. Interesting.
The reconstruction continues behind that rubble.
We don't have some kind of quantum tunneling device in a shed somewhere, do we?
Quantum tunnel technology is at least 10 years away, but Spiderbots and drones are here today. You could try one of those if you don't feel like waiting.
Good idea.
Check.
those human eyeballs of yours at the van's cargo.
Grand.
RDX nitrogen, and the exact same detonator system like the bombs that were planted at Parliament.
0 day.
There, hurry. Got all the deliveries.
So you were hired to supply all the targets? Shut it, we're all on need to know.
Fuck me. So 0 day was using a bunch of groups to pull off the bombings.
That's certainly one way to pull off a massive coordinated attack while remaining anonymous. 0 day needed manpower and resources, but they needed them at an arm's length. And it doesn't take the world's greatest AI detective to see that both Clan Kelly and Albion benefited in the aftermath. Unfortunately, this is the most we can get out of the AR reconstruction. But if we could find the mystery officer who was spying through the spider bot, maybe they could tell us more. Tracing the Spiderbot serial number, it was assigned to New Scotland Yard 3 years ago. Perhaps more information about its user or its assignment will be available at the station.
So the police were onto the real bombers, but they kept their mouths shut for some reason. Doesn't add up. We don't have all the facts yet.
The only way to know for sure is to investigate New Scotland Yard.
What is this? Paramedic. What?
Auto drive now enabled. Auto drive now disabled.
Christ. Albion's taking this place over like a fucking parasite.
And the entire police service. But don't worry, if you're not pleased with your privatised goon squad, just take your business across the street.
Didn't think I could feel bad for English police, but fucking hell.
Not to worry, the only difference now is the uniform, assault weapons, and the fact they're motivated by profit over public service. Now, any record or information on the Spider-Bot will be further in.
Get down, people, there's a gun!
Huh?
You! Stop! Watch out, there's an active shooter!
They're wounded! You better not waste my time!
They're wounded!
They've got me pinned! Damn it, where did they go?
I'm exposed! Move it! I've got them! Engaging. Can't hide forever. Lose the last known position. Check their last known position.
Right, let's spread out and look. Drone, perform a search.
Eyes peeled. They're here. I'll hold back.
There are innocent people here! Please, help!
Fucking hell!
That's brilliant, thanks.
There we go. I think you just made a new friend. If Albion wanted to lock them up, they must be dangerous. And dangerous we can use.
Yes.
Going in for a look.
Bagley, is this our spider bot?
According to the serial numbers, this matches the piece of spider bot from the Tone bombing site.
Can you ID the last user?
Navigate the spider bot from out of that room. I'll need a direct connection in order to learn more from our bisected friend.
I'm on it.
Live alarm. Location sent. Need a 1013.
That opening right there looks like a good exit point. That's a part of the remote detonator system from Parliament. If the Met, or Albion rather, actually analysed it, they would see it wasn't DedSec's handiwork at all. Right, get comfy. This spiderbot might be broken and missing some of its legs, but it can still jump and fit through vents. That's a good way to get through the station undetected. That's Dalton's mask. It must have been recovered from Parliament. It might be the only thing left of him now. Buggery fuck, would you look at all this junk? You'll have to jump your way across to get to the next vent opening. almost there. Make your way through this last bent path.
Got it.
Scanning Spiderbot and accessing its internal drives. While I'm analysing this data, you should make yourself scarce. Unless you'd like to explain to your new, heavily armed, privatised police force why you've broken into the station.
Fine.
Sierra 4-2, this is Control. An alarm has been activated near you. Survey the area.
The Spiderbot fragment you found has a satellite-based GPS module that regularly pushed its location to a specific ground station.
A secret location? None of this makes sense. We better go check it out.
Pushing you the ground station's coordinates. The GPS history of the Spiderbot we recovered regularly pinged these coordinates. Our mystery witness to the real bombers must have come to this lovely, damp location several times.
It's remote. Good place to fly under the radar.
Or to discreetly dump a body into the Thames.
Now to find a way in.
I'm detecting a surveillance network guarding a space under this bridge. If you can patch into it, perhaps you can take a look inside.
Everyone all right?
Jesus.
It's okay. It's okay.
Back office is none of your business. Back office is none of your business. Lousy maggot.
You fucking cock.
Stay down. Stop resisting.
You're lucky I didn't knock your head off.
Any luck yet? Drone, initiate search.
Target not found. Searching.
I know you're here somewhere.
Well, tiddle me bollocks. It's like a wee little cop station here. What's it doing, I wonder?
Well, if Albion was stomping all over your workplace, you'd find a different place to store your lunch too. And it seems our mystery officer was dedicated.
Sure, I'm with you. But what were they working on that would lead them to the town bombing?
The computer's dusty enough to kill an asthmatic, but there may still be something useful on it.
This is Inspector Caitlin Lau. Well, former Inspector now. Since Albion's coup, the Met is no more. The police brass had already buried the evidence anyway. Everything implicating Albion and Clan Kelly in the bombings. But I know Mary Kelly's band of twats were involved, and they're involved in other crimes we can look into. Me and a few good mates are willing to go off book, going after Mary Kelly again. I'll never fucking learn, will I? Inspector Caitlin Lau, video log. Clan Kelly and Albion are teamed up on some deal. I don't have all the details, but it looks to be human trafficking. The European Processing Center is the Albion angle. Since the bombings, they can grab anyone off the street. Call them illegal immigrants, potential DedSec insurgents, whatever. Though we know who the real danger is. So, Clan Kelly gets hold of these people, these immigrants, deportees, victims, really, and they're taking them somewhere. But where and why? It all comes back to the boss lady herself. I knew she was into something, but she wriggled off the hook. There's only one way I can do this. 24/7 surveillance on Mary Kelly. If I'm caught, well, this will be my last entry. But I have to see what she's hiding.
So, our mystery officer was Inspector Caitlin Lau. It sounds like Mary Kelly was her white whale, and her investigation led her to the bombings.
Ah, this is all starting to come together. I knew Albion were grade A cunts, but working with Clan Kelly gives them something to hide.
It seems like 0 Days Web covers all of the unsavory bits of London. Tug on a thread, and it leads back to them. Clan Kelly and Albion included.
They're taking people off the streets. 0 Day or not, we have to do something.
Inspector Lau mentioned Albion is running their part of the operation out of the EPC. Detectives like us call that a lead.
Control to all units. Possible hostiles near your location.
Approaching with caution, over.
This Albion Clan Kelly business leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And if Caitlin Lau's right, then this little nugget jumps to the front of the queue. We have reason to believe a former DedSec operative may still be alive, but missing inside the EPC.
Angel Lopez, not London-born, but I won't hold that against him, unlike some others.
Looks like Angel got caught up in the immigration roundup, which, ironically, may be the only reason he escaped 0 Days DedSec purge.
Anti-immigrant sentiment has grown in London since the bombings. Albion fuels it. It allows them to send anyone they want to their brutal refugee camp.
We need to find Angel before they discover he's DedSec. This is kind of personal team. But finding his trail might just shed some light on the Albion Clan Kelly connection.
Shit. Well, good news it is. Deportees aren't leaving the UK. They just chuck them in the EPC and then they look the other way.
I've sent the details to your device and advised our contact at the EPC. They can get you inside.
Alright. That's it for today. I'll be live tomorrow. Everyone have a great day. Be safe. This is wild. So